All right, let's talk about the Rajasthan Administrative Services exam. If you're prepping for it, you absolutely know that feeling of staring up at a giant mountain of books and notes. But what if there was a smarter way to climb it? A way to focus your energy on what really counts? Well, in this explainer, we're going to show you that exact path.
You know the feeling, right? You open up the syllabus PDF and it just keeps scrolling, and scrolling, and scrolling. You've got history, geography, polity, economics, science, art, and culture. It seriously feels like you need to become an expert on everything. And honestly, it's enough to make anyone feel a little bit of panic.
And yeah, this right here, this is what we're up against. What you're looking at is just a tiny piece of the official syllabus. We are talking about an insane range of topics, from ancient historical sites in Rajasthan all the way to modern economic policies. The sheer size of it is huge, and trying to master all of it with the same level of attention, well, that's a surefire way to burn out.
But what if the secret wasn't in some textbook? What if the key to success is actually hidden inside the exam itself? What if, instead of just staring at that endless syllabus, we could find a hidden map, a guide that tells us exactly where the exam setters love to go year after year? This is all about making a shift from just passively reading to actively analyzing.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. We're about to learn how to decode the exam's DNA. We're going to pull back the curtain on a really powerful technique that uses old exam papers as a strategic tool to figure out what you should be studying next.
Let's put a name to this secret weapon, a microtheme. Now, this isn't just a big, broad subject like polity. No, it's way more specific. It's a highly focused, granular topic that the RPSC comes back to again and again and again. Think of these as the exam's favorite talking points, and just identifying them is the first huge step toward a truly strategic prep. So, how do you actually find these things? Well, it's not some crazy complex process. It's actually a pretty straightforward four-step mission. First, you get your hands on at least 5 to 10 years of past RAS Prelims papers. Second, you just start looking for questions that kind of feel similar, even if the wording is totally different. Third, you start grouping those questions by their very specific topic. And finally, you give that little group a name. Boom, that's your microtheme.
Look, theory is one thing, but let's actually see this in action. Let's build one of these microthemes together right now using real questions from past RAS exams. Just watch how a clear pattern starts to pop out from what looks like a bunch of random, disconnected questions.
Okay, first piece of the puzzle, coming from the 2016 paper. This question is asking about the nature of the State Election Commission. Is it statutory? Is it constitutional? It's a question about its basic status. Okay, let's just hang on to that thought.
All right, now let's fast forward 5 years to 2021. The focus here is on the RPSC, another super important body. But see what's happening? The question isn't about its status this time. It's about its function, specifically who they give their annual report to. So again, we're seeing a focus on a very specific procedural detail.
And then, just a couple of years later, bam, 2023, we get this question about the Comptroller and Auditor General, the CAG. And this time, they're testing your knowledge of the exact constitutional articles related to the CAG. So let's recap. We've seen questions on status, function, and now the specific articles. Are you starting to see the connection here?
Right, on the surface, these questions look totally different. One's about the Election Commission, one's about the RPSC, and others about the CAG. But they are all pointing in the exact same direction, asking about the same type of thing.
And there it is. Our microtheme is constitutional bodies. Now, what's really important here is how this pattern breaks down. The RPSC consistently asks you about whether a body is constitutional or statutory, what its specific jobs are, like who gets the reports, and how they interact with the big players, like the governor. So here's the game changer. Instead of just reading a generic chapter on constitutional bodies, your notes should be all about answering these 3 specific points for every single major body. And listen, this isn't just a magic trick that only works for polity. This microtheme approach is so powerful because it works across the entire massive RAS syllabus. Let me show you another quick example, just to prove the point.
Check this out. On the left, we've got our theme we just built. But if you apply the exact same thinking to, say, Rajasthan art and culture, a whole new theme pops up. Saints and sects. Time and time again, the exam asks you to connect specific saints with the sects they started, or to name the main center of a particular group. It's a totally clear, repeatable pattern, just in a completely different subject.
Microthemes also tell a story over time. Take the theme of Rajasthan minerals. You see, back in 2018, there was a question, Then, for a couple of exams in 2021 and 2023, it went totally quiet. You might think, oh, maybe that topic's not important anymore. But look, it came roaring back in the 2024 paper. Tracking themes like this helps you see which topics are always popular and which ones might just be due for a comeback.
Okay, so we've seen the what and the how, but let's talk about the why. Why does this all matter? How does thinking in microthemes actually give you a real edge in your preparation?
First off, it gives you laser focus. You stop trying to boil the entire ocean, and you start putting your energy into the topics that have the highest chance of showing up. This makes your revision so much more efficient. You're mastering the core patterns, not just random facts. It also helps you remember things better because you're seeing how ideas connect across different years. And at the end of the day, all of this gives you a massive strategic edge. You're no longer just a student of the syllabus, you're becoming an analyst of the exam.
This is the big takeaway right here. This is the core mindset shift you have to make. The syllabus tells you what you could be asked, but the past papers, when you look at them through the lens of microthemes, tell you what you are likely to be asked. Your study time is precious. Spend it where it's going to have the biggest impact.
So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. Are you just studying the syllabus, or are you studying the exam itself? The path to clearing the RAS exam isn't about covering 100% of the material. It's about deeply understanding 100% of how the exam thinks. And the micro-theme approach? Well, that's your key to unlocking it. Good luck with your prep.